This case just doesn't know when to stop. But I will say it right here, this episode is awesome. I'm MegamanNG, and I welcome you one and all to my Ace Attorney Season 2 anime review. We'll be talking about episode 22, Bridge to the Turnabout 6th trial. This is actually the penultimate episode because next week is the finale. I really don't know how I'm going to do my season finale review, especially considering how Season 2 has had some ups and a bit of downs. I'll provide a summary, as well as some of the main points, and there's a lot, so let us begin. Continuing from the previous episode, Nick has discovered that Iris is in fact Dahlia Hawthorne, channeled by a spirit medium. It is here we also learn about Dahlia, and how she had a hand in Morgan Fay's plan to rid the main Fay family line. Despite this, Phoenix hopes to find out what had happened to Maya, along with Iris. But as Dahlia has said, sometimes the truth is better left unknown. Can Nick keep his composure and figure out the truth? Or is the weight of losing someone so important for him too hard to bear? Yeah, we're now reaching the good stuff. And when I mean the good stuff, I mean the very good stuff. The good stuff involving one Dahlia Hawthorne. Yes, Bridge to the Turnabout is now at part 6, 6th trial. And yeah, out of all the cases that we've seen in this anime, this one takes the bloody cake. I'm not kidding. This episode just basically focuses on Dahlia herself. And truth be told, Dahlia is the main focus. She takes the stand, and man, what she says can be outright sickening. Even in death, even when you're possessed, or rather channeled by a spirit medium, she is a heartless demon. Though there is one thing I will say. There was a scene that was like a big close-up of her. I mean, come on. It's just scary. We get the idea that she's scary, but not like this. Similar to the game, we learn why Dahlia went ahead with Morgan's plan. But it wasn't to help Morgan Fay out at all. Besides, she never gave an ounce of care to Morgan anyway. She had an ulterior motive. The only thing that bugged me was that in the game, Dahlia explained how she met Morgan Fay with the plan, how she was executed, and how the fact that she, well, pretty much ended up in this position. That's the one thing that bothered me because it was missing that. With Dahlia mentioning in the beginning that, yeah, Morgan Fay are in fact Dahlia and Iris are pretty much the daughters to, or rather, this is messy. Morgan Fay had twin daughters, Dahlia and Iris Hawthorne, or should I say, Dahlia and Iris Fay. And upon learning that her sister Mia would end up becoming the main family line, the next one, well, that went way downhill. Basically, her marriage ended in divorce. Dahlia's father took the twins and went off, but not before leaving Iris behind with Sister Bikini, which honestly was a good move. Not to mention, he would end up remarrying, and the fact that the one that he remarried also had a daughter. That, and Dahlia did mention that her father had no interest in children at all. I also wondered if that she didn't mention regarding Pearl Fay. Eventually, when Dahlia learned that, well, Morgan would end up having another daughter, Pearl Fay, born with an abundance of spiritual power, putting all her hopes and dreams in that little girl's back. That's messed up when you think about it. It just messed up. And yeah, we also learned that the only reason why Dahlia went through with it was revenge, through her first and only defeat against one Mia Fay. Just messed up. And you can't help but feel bad for Phoenix throughout, because realizing that, yeah, Dahlia didn't care for Phoenix, right? She really did not. Like she said, she despised him. Your sniveling faith and your naivete and your faith in other people. And yes, they mentioned that the main side of the Curane family has both economic and political influence. And that was the reason what Morgan Fay wanted. And when she couldn't get that, she desired revenge. No wonder the Fay family has been filled with bloodshed over the years. She was motivated by greed and revenge, and Dahlia is no different. Like I said, you feel bad for Nick in this because in his mind he thought Maya died. We can safely say that this also shows he had a breakdown. But not in the breakdown you expect, but in a breakdown that, out of all the stress and pain, boom, he couldn't handle it anymore. If there's one thing I will also say about this episode is that most of it is very faithful to the game. Most of it, yeah, it was in fact, all of it was faithful to the game. Very faithful. Not to mention, Goto delivers one heck of an amazing line. Once you eliminate all impossibilities, whatever remains, no matter how improbable, must be the truth. It's that line alone that has Nick realize it's not over yet. And it leads to one of the best moments in the episode. An epic point that was so awesome, it was just satisfying. And yeah, he eventually figures out the truth, that Dahlia was in fact channeled by Maya Fey. She thought that it was Pearl Fey, but we already know that Pearl's tried and couldn't do it. And the reason being was that someone else had already channeled the same spirit, and it turned out to be none other than Maya. Dahlia underestimated Maya because Maya's a lot more stronger than she realized. But what makes it even more bittersweet was Mia showing up. Mia making an appearance, and Dahlia's reaction to seeing her is just priceless, even in death. Even in death, the thought of seeing Mia again it makes her blood boil. Dahlia's reaction, like I said, was priceless. And it also shows that Maya's a much stronger person because, truth be told, she actually channeled Mia for help. So Mia concocted a plan that would be able to prevent any more tragedy and be able to save everybody else in the process. Like in the games, Maya channeled Mia and explained in a memo what had happened. And knowing that Dahlia was a big threat, Maya had only two options left. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived. For if she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey. Pearl did not understand the plan. All she was doing was following Morgan Fey's instructions. If things proceeded as they were, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly. And the worst part is that that young girl would take the fall. But why don't we just admit it? Why can't Dahlia just admit it? Her whole plan was nothing but a big failure. Another failure to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? And it made Dahlia realize, no matter what she did, every single one of them ended in failure, dating back to Turnabout Beginnings, or rather, before Turnabout Beginnings. Her very first crime at the age of 14, getting her hands on a $2 million diamond. And after what happened with that trial and the events of Turnabout Beginnings, the plan was exposed. And then a year later, the events of Turnabout Memories. Like Phoenix said, and then 1 year later, you try to kill me. I'm still alive, but you wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's all one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny. And here again, you let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you. And it led to the moment, her exorcism. But it makes you realize one thing. Dahlia will never win. She will not win against Mia. Like Mia said, I think you finally realize something, Dahlia. You will never defeat me. Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. And as long as I'm around, you will continue to lose for all eternity. Which leads to the exorcism moment, but not before Mia decides to rub it in further and further and further. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once was out in front of you has burnt down. And that is true. Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I know. I'm saying it right here because, well, Dahlia got the ultimate punishment. Normally, the living would have no way to punish the dead. But what happened here gave Dahlia the ultimate punishment. And the ultimate realization that maybe she should just give up. And her exorcism scene was just scary. It was scary seeing Dahlia come out of Maya's body and then finally back to the afterlife. Back into hell. But even though Maya is safe, this trial isn't over yet. Another battle is going to take place, and it's regarding what happened to Misty. So Goto decides to call Maya Fey to the witness stand. And you want to know the worst thing? Like in the games, Nick has to do this all on his own. Goto wants to make sure of it. But I'm speaking in hyperbole. But all throughout this episode, there are two characters you really feel bad for. Make that three. Nick Maya and Pearls. Nick, because, well, having to deal with a she-demon was already a pain in the butt. Maya, because, well, she was a victim in all of this. All because Morgan Fay wanted revenge against the Fay family, especially her mother, Misty Fay. And, wait, mother? More like her sister, because, yeah, Morgan and Misty Fay are sisters. She wanted revenge against her sister, Misty Fay, because she took the position as main family line, meaning that the Branch family would forever have to serve the main family. It's sad, really. It really is sad. And Maya's just an innocent victim. She didn't deserve to go through all this. It's messed up. And there's also the matter of Pearls. Pearls, having learned the truth that her own mother wanted her cousin dead, wanted Maya Fay dead as revenge. It's just really sad. And for a 9-year-old to have to endure this? Ugh. The only reason why I'm just so emotional right now because this episode is truly epic. These guys nailed it. They bloody nailed it. The pacing was just right. And what can I say? It was just that good. My only flaw with the episode is that some stuff was either changed or removed to make the pacing flow better. Honestly, it didn't really matter. They nailed the episode to a T. And they did it well. They nailed one of the most important moments in Ace Attorney, hands down. My final score is a perfect 10 out of 10. This episode is perfect. I don't care. Don't at me. It deserves the 10 out of 10 score. I loved it. It was intense all throughout. Everything that you love about the moment with Dahlia Hawthorne and all that, it was well deserved. I am not kidding. It was just that bloody awesome. But what makes it really sad is that next week is the final episode of the season. How I'm going to do a season finale review is beyond me, but here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to be reviewing the episode. That much is clear. And then I will be reviewing the season. But I'm also going to be adding one other thing. I wonder, and this is just me, the only thing that makes me wonder is how would an adaptation of Rise from the Ashes would turn out? Yeah, that's the one thing that bugs me because this anime didn't have an adaptation of this case. And if it did, it would probably be like a multi-episode OVA, more like a side season that would take place between the events of Ace Attorney and Justice for All. This case was only added in for the Western release of the original Ace Attorney on DS to incorporate the DS features. But for me personally, I want to brainstorm how it would go down. And I would also feel that since I know that each episode, I want it to pretty much be 22-24 minutes an episode. It would last 7 or 8. I'm going to brainstorm this, don't you fret. And the reason why this review is so long because this episode was just good. I'm not kidding. But I got to ask you, what do you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. Next week will be the season finale, the end of Ace Attorney Season 2. Let's only hope that we get a Season 3, because I hope we get to see either Rise from the Ashes or Apollo Justice. That is it for this episode of You. If you enjoyed, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot to me. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. Doing it all helps out to my benefit. If you would like to support this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. All it takes is $1 a month. Like I always say it. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. See you next week for the season finale. igi'ari.